Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to July. 6 months down, 6 months to go until December and Christmas time and a new year. I hope that July is going to be a good month for you. Today in English, we are going to look at letter writing letters. Nowadays, we definitely don't write as many letters as we used to in the past. In the olden days, that was the only way people could communicate. They didn't have telephones, they didn't have emails or cell phones. They used to write letters to their friends, and the letter would go through the post and get there maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks later. Then the friend would write back. So it wasn't instant like we have today. However, there's a definite format for letter writing, and it really is still quite special to get a letter from somebody, whether it's a thank you letter or an invitation or even a birthday card where you can see that person's handwriting. It's a special thing. Okay, so this is a letter, all right? This is just an example of a letter that I found that I thought I would share with you. So as I said, a letter has a very definite format. Firstly, you can see the top right-hand corner. You've got the date. Okay, so this date here is the 26th of May, 2010. So 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, this letter was written. Then we've got our greeting. So who the letter is to. You can't just write a letter and not have who it's to, then who knows who must read it? So this letter says, Dear Evie. Okay, and then underneath it, you can see there are 3 paragraphs. Okay, 3 bits of information with some space in between. All right, so let's read the first bit of information. I am in Paris, which is a place in France. I have been eating some of the yummy food. They have the best cakes and pastries here. My favorite are the chocolate croissants. Oh, yummy. There's a chocolate croissant over there. Today, I went to the Louvre Museum. It is enormous. I saw some very famous paintings and some big sculptures there. Okay, so there's the Louvre there. That's the entrance to it. Really a special place. I've never been. I wonder if any of you have. And lastly, she says, what painting might you like to see if you visited the Louvre? Yours truly, Gabby. All right? So you don't just end the letter with your name. There's always like a final sort of with love or kind regards or yours sincerely. Gabby here chose yours truly and then her name, Gabby, underneath. Okay, so have a look at this letter again. Notice where the date is. Notice the beginning. You start with dear or to, and then your information comes. All right? Depending how much you're going to write, you might put it into paragraphs like Gabby has. And between each paragraph, each bit of information, there is a line open. There's space available. And then when you finish your last bit of information, you leave space, and then you do your final farewell and your name. So that is how a letter looks. Okay, so as we were talking about, the date, the greeting, dear, to, the body. So they're calling this the body, which is your information bit, where you're asking questions, you're telling about something, you're thanking, you're explaining. That is called the body. That's the main part of your letter. Then we've got the closing. Okay, that's the kind regards or with love. And lastly, your signature or your name. All right, so here's another example of a letter. Let's have a look. Right at the top, must be on the right-hand side, is the date. So this says December 4, 2012. Next comes your greeting, your dear, your to. So who the letter is addressed to. Then there is a little comma after that person's name. Then we've got the body. Thank you for the present for my birthday. The scarf will keep me warm during the cold winter. I bet you cannot wait until Christmas. Have you written your letter to Santa Claus yet? What did you ask him for? I look forward to our visit at Christmas. So that's the body. So this is a letter obviously from a granny to probably her grandson, because it says grandma at the bottom, thanking him for a present. So first she's talking about the present. She's saying her thank yous, what she's going to use it for. And then she goes on to talk about some other information, because otherwise the letters can be too short and they don't really say much. So it's nice to talk a little bit more, to explain a few more things. And here she's moved on to talking about Christmas. Asking Charlie, has he written to Santa Claus yet? What did he ask for? And then she says she looks forward to their visit. Okay, so the letter's got quite a bit of information in it. Then we've got the closing, all right, which is love in this case. Remember, Gabby's letter was yours truly, so you can decide how you want to close it. And lastly, the signature or the name, Grandma. So the closing and the signature or name come straight underneath each other. Okay, it can be on the right-hand side, or you can have it on the left over here. In the previous slide, it was on the left from Gabby, so you can choose which side you want to put it. That doesn't matter. Okay, so let's see what we are going to do with writing letters today. Our task. You are going to write a thank you letter to Mrs. Barber. Now, why would we be thanking Mrs. Barber? Well, if you think back to book day last week, Friday, that was all Mrs. Barber's hard work. And it must have taken her a long time to put that together. Because remember, boys and girls, the activities that you did were not the same as the activities that the grade 3s and 4s did, or the grade 5s and 6s. She planned activities for each specific age group, just to make sure that it wasn't too hard or too easy. Must have taken her a long time. So in this letter, you are going to firstly thank her for organizing book day. Number 2, tell her who you dressed up as and explain your outfit. So I dressed up as Cinderella. I wore. So you've got to explain how you dressed up as Cinderella. Okay? And then you're going to write about your favorite activity that you did. So on the online activities, what was the favorite one? Was it the Dr. Seuss game? Was it the drawing where you had to draw your favorite character? Was it listening to the songs on Mrs. Greasley's page? What was it? Was it simply listening to the many different audiobooks and looking at the pictures? What really was exciting for you? Okay, so in order to just have a look back on our book day and to show off some of the amazing costumes, let's have a look at these slides. Ah, there's Mrs. Van Hastings' kids, the boys, looking fantastic in the outfits from the Three Little Pigs, from the 13-story treehouse, North Star from the Bible, or even dressed up as Jesus from the Bible. There we go, some more of Mrs. Van Hastings' kids, looking fabulous as Fern or Peter Pan, or a lovely dress up from a horse book, or David the Shepherd. Lovely, well done, Mrs. Van Hastings' children. And there's some of my superstars from my class. Langa, Liam, Daniel, Sienna. They were at school, and look at those fantastic outfits that they created. Some more superstars from 2.2. Got Matilda. We've got characters from the Bible, Peter Rabbit, our Cinderellas or Snow White, looking absolutely fantastic. And look at Kate over there. Wow, excellent as Jasmine. Onto Mrs. Lord's boys. They all look strong and fierce. Those are fantastic outfits, boys. There's some of Mrs. Lord's girls, as well as some more children from my class. Wow, I just love these outfits. Little Red Riding Hood, Kung Fu Panda, Frankie. Beautiful stories. Well done, Atara too. And there's Phoebe and her unicorn. Good effort there. Right, so just a reminder of what you need to do. You're doing your thank you letter to Mrs. Barber, thanking her for organizing book day, telling her who you dressed up as and explaining your outfit, and 3, writing about your favorite activity that you did. So there are 3 different aspects to the body of your letter. So that main information part has got 3 different aspects. Okay, so here I have created the format for you. Okay, so you've got your date, top right, 1 July 2020. Then underneath it on a new line, you've got Dear or To Mrs. Barber. You don't need to write both of these. You can choose. Do you want to say Dear or do you want to say To? So it is a choice. Don't write both. Then I've done a red block there to say Biba, watch out, leave a line open. After your open line, you get to your body, which is your information part, which is where you're going to write those 3 different bits of information. So number 1, thanking her for organizing book day. So I've written there, thank you for organizing book day. I had so much fun. I dressed up as da 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 da. Whatever you dressed up as. I wore, explain the outfit. My favorite activity was, and then you can also add, I also enjoyed. Now grade 2s, this is an example. You do not need to copy mine word for word. You can write your own letter, okay? I'm just trying to help you if you are stuck so that this is a guideline for you. But if you're happy and you want to write more information, you want to change the sentences, please do. That will be amazing. Make this letter your own. Okay, so once you are finished with the body, the information part, big red to show line open. You don't need to draw the red line. No, no, no. This is just to say to you, leave a line open. And then you've got your closing. So you can choose. You can say kind regards or warm regards or from and then your name. Please don't put Mrs. Prowse. That's my name. Put your name down. Okay, so you choose one of these options. Okay, go through this slowly and carefully. Make sure it's your best and most beautiful handwriting. Now, normally we would write this on paper and make an envelope and actually give it to Mrs. Barber. But sadly, we can't be passing on paper and that at this time. So what we'll do is we'll send her pictures of it. So you are just going to do it in your books. And once you've done the letter, you can actually decorate the outside, because often letters do have little pictures or pattern around it or at the top or at the bottom. So you can decorate it once you are finished your letter. Make it look really interesting. And then we'll send it to Mrs. Barber through a picture. Okay, now if you did not dress up for book day, you didn't participate for whatever reason, then you need to move on to the next slide where I will explain to you what you can write about. For the rest of you, I'm excited to see these beautiful letters you are going to write to Mrs. Barber. So this slide, boys and girls, is only for the children who did not do book day. Okay, for whatever reason it was, you were not able to participate. This is the letter you can write. All right, so if you've done book day, you did it, you must go to the slide before. All right, you're at the wrong place. Okay, so same format, boys and girls. Top right, 1st of July, 2020. You write your date. Okay. Then, after the date, underneath, but on the left-hand side, you're going to do your greeting. So either dear or to. Choose one or the other. You don't need to write both. And we're still going to write it to Mrs. Barber. Leave your line open. Okay, don't color your line in red, just leave it open. Okay, this is the body. Thank you for organizing book day. Okay, we can still say thank you to her. She still did it even though you didn't participate. So thank you for organizing book day. I am sorry I was not able to be part of it. If I could have, I would have dressed up as. Okay, so if you actually had have dressed up, what would you have worn? Okay, so who would you have dressed up as? And then I would have worn. What would you have worn? So explain. So this is where you have to think a little bit creatively. Had you dressed up, who would you have dressed up as and what would you have worn? Then you can say, my favorite book is, okay, so write your favorite book. I enjoyed it because. Explain why you enjoyed that book. Why is it your favorite book? Okay, so you are still writing a great letter here. You're still explaining lots of things to Mrs. Barber and telling her about why you love reading, which she'll be so happy to hear. Then, of course, you leave your line open. Okay, and lastly, you do your closing. Kind regards, or warm regards, or from. Choose one of those and your name underneath. Okay. Be very careful to put your name under, not next to it. Okay, so boys and girls, that is the exact format you need to follow. And once again, once you're finished, you can also decorate your letter beautifully, and we'll also send a picture to Mrs. Barber. Okay, so good luck. Do your best.